Hey, this is Skullgirdle, and welcome to October Burns Black Fault Line, an album review. So this highly anticipated four-song EP came out on July 20th, 2018. And full disclosure, I received a PR digital download from their manager. And I know you have a question that is weighing heavily on you, and that question is, how the fuck did I get on a PR list? So I did this giveaway with some sweet Ermengarde merchandise and music, and I had a swearing contest. Pretty much pitting Cussosaurus Rex against Homo sapiens swearian. And it kind of garnered the notice of Sweet Ermengarde's social media manager, Ed Shorrock. And I was like, shit, they're going to take down my channel. They're going to block this video. I won't be able to get this stuff out to a winner. And they actually found it mildly amusing. Whew. So I got to keep my channel, and Ed and I wound up talking pretty frequently, mostly about Gothic Rock because he is a Gothic Rock enthusiast. And I am a, well, goth enthusiast. And I just discovered that there was more Gothic rock being made than I had ever dreamed because I am old, and so I was quite comfortable with the 80s music, but wanted to learn more about contemporary goth music, and Ed helped me out quite a bit. So thank you, Ed. That was very kind of you. Ed and I talked pretty frequently, pretty fucking frequently, and we used to talk almost every day. And in that time, he's sending me like the names of producers and DJs and stuff like that. And in all those names, he sends me the name of some guy named James Tramel. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's another DJ. That's cool. I know some of you are already laughing. Please continue to laugh. He keeps talking about this band. I was like, okay, fine. Who the fuck are these people? So he lists it out. He's like, this guy, this guy, this guy. I'm like, okay. And of course, out of sight, out of mind, I was like, who? Who the fuck? Who the fuck? Who the fuck? But he did say Lars Kappeler, and I knew who that was because Lars is the bassist for Sweet Ermengarde. For context, I was active in the 80s into the early 90s, like 1990, and then we'll just say dormant for a long time until like the mid 2000s. So it comes time to do some recordings and stuff. And so Ed and I got together and worked up a really nice giveaway. My God. And the person who won it appreciates it. But it was an album from This Burning Effigy, an album from The Wake, an album from Sweet Ermengarde, an album from Long Night, and an album from NFD. Now that you know how I wound up on the PR list, let's get to the brass tacks of talking about this band. And let's start with that DJ guy, James What's-His-Face. James Tramel is the original bassist for The Wake. He was active with them from 1986 until 1994, and then again from 2008 until 2014. And now again, I've heard that there's practicing happening. Anyway, let's go back to 1986 to 1994 because this is a very important time for The Wake, and it's a very important time for Gothic rock. During that time, they recorded Masked, which is considered to be a seminal Gothic rock album, taking Gothic rock from the age of the Sisters of Mercy into the future. It was recorded in 1992 and is considered to be a classic. It's like a must-have, must-listen if you are a fan of Gothic rock. I highly recommend it. It is, in fact, very good. James went back and recorded some more stuff with them and rehearsed with them in 2008, and then left in 2014 right after Rusted came out, which appears, I think, only on one of the Gothic rock albums. And then came back to them, I think, in 2016, if my information is correct. Like, after the 2014 break, after Rusted, James wanted to play live, and The Wake was not at that time prepared to go out and play live. So he's like, well, fuck, now I gotta do something else. And so this is when he conceived October Burns Black, and it says established 2015. You can see it on my fucking screen if you're looking. He was looking for Gothic rock, but he was looking for something different than what he played. You know what I mean? How you kind of looking to stretch yourself. And James couldn't find anyone local. He was referred to Lars Kappeler, and from there they got the rest of the band together. So let's list out some of the band members with their other projects. You have James Tramel, bass, The Wake, founder of October Burns Black. You have Lars Kappeler, currently bass player for Sweet Ermengarde, formerly of Atomic Neon, I think guitars, and also played in a prog rock band called Rake's Progress. You have Tommy Olsson, who currently plays for Long Night and has in the past played for the Morendos, and I think it's Illusion. I'm probably just saying it wrong, which is a metal band. And then you have Egan, who sang for This Burning Effigy, and I think a shitload of other little projects that I didn't memorize. I am so sorry, Mr. Egan. I probably should have. So what we've got here is a fuckload of experience mixed with talent, and I have seen at least 2 other reviews that have referred to them as a Gothic Rock supergroup. The goal of October Burns Black is simple. It's to take musicians from different backgrounds and put them together and see what they come up with and just make good Gothic rock. Or, as somebody might have said in 1993 or something, Gothic as fuck. When I first started listening to the album, I contacted Mr. Egan asking him about the lyrics because I was a little bit confused. We never did get to talk about it, but he sent me a puzzle. He sent me 2 words about the lyrics of each song, which actually is quite clever, and it gave me something to chew on and think about. So you're going to get my interpretation of what I think his interpretation was, but not really, it's just my interpretation. So listening to this song, it's like twisting on the floor, twisting on the floor, twisting on the floor, twisting on the floor. If you don't really listen to the song, you're thinking, is this somebody who's had such a bad breakup that they're like, oh, it's so sad? It's not. It's not. It is about meritocracy and sexualization. And I was like, okay, I know what a meritocracy is. Meritocracy is the idea that a government is run by people based on their skill and abilities. So I had to look them up together. And I was like, oh, good God. Oh my God, this is my whole entire fucking career. Meritocracy and sexualization is the idea that the utopian meritocracy does not actually work because those people who are of the lower classes or of the, I don't know, female gender really don't have the opportunity. So you don't have the opportunity to build the abilities, so it winds up making a bigger and bigger gap. Does that sound maybe a little familiar? Snaps, Mr. Egan, snaps. This song for me is visceral. It was from the first time I heard it. I should have known from that second that it couldn't possibly be some stupid ass love song. So let's have a listen. One thing you'll notice is that the bass is pushing this song forward. Like most Gothic rock, it has a bigger part to play than bass in other kind of rock bands. You can feel it pushing it forward, and then in come the vocals. And you hear this wonderful higher baritone voice, less monotone than average. A little bit more rock guitar in there, because it is Gothic rock. We're gonna skip ahead because I'm an irritating fuck who wants you to buy the album. Let's skip forward because it wouldn't be me if I didn't irritate the shit out of you somehow. Okay, I'm going to stop it there because I'm going to point something out and we're going to come back and play it. If you've ever heard This Burning Effigy, then you know that Egan is a good singer. You know that he is a kick-ass frontman for a Gothic rock band. What you're going to hear on this album is a good singer, a good solid singer who has matured to a masterful lyricist who is in complete control of his vocals. He is in control of this shit, y'all. He is singing all the parts, y'all. And while yes, sometimes you can tell it's him singing, it doesn't always sound exactly like him. And there are several different parts going on at any time. But it's also the pronunciation and the syncopation that he sings. Like he's singing twisting on the floor, twisting on the floor, twisting on the floor, twisting on the floor, twisting on the floor. It's like twisting on the floor like never before. He's just singing it straight. Twisting on the floor like never before. Twisting on the floor like never before, right? He's singing it straight. When he's just singing twisting on the floor, he does something that is a extremely subtle syncopation. And I'm going to exaggerate it so you can hear it. It takes a song from a level of, this is a really good song, to the level of visceral. Well played, Mr. Egan, well played. So he hits that S in the first twisting, and in the second one, The S is very soft, and he drags out that vowel, and it's like not even maybe a 16th note. It's really, really subtle, and you're just like, I did not hear that shit. Twisting on the floor, twisting on the floor, twisting on the floor, twisting on the floor. So the second S gets softer. There are subtleties like this riddled throughout this album. While you're walking away, while you're walking away, I am with you. Twisting on the floor, 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 twisting on the floor. Now we're moving on to Shimmer. I think that these lyrics are pretty self-explanatory. The reason you see I, and you'll notice that Mr. Egan does a lot of glottal stop. That's instead of going I, you're like I. So you can hear those glottal stops in there, and it makes a different percussive feeling. And it's like, you know, frustration. And I don't think that this one really needs that much of an explanation, except that he said it's about mirror and worth. Come on, y'all. Mirror and self-worth. Looking in the mirror and finding your self-worth. Okay, so let's listen to this one. And this one's different. They're all different. So, hey, here we go. And I'm going to talk through it just to irritate the fuck out of you. It sounds like it's coming from far away. And kind of self-awareness does come from far away sometimes. But we're pushed by the guitars now. There's the bass. The bass is always pushing you forward in this. October Burns Black Fire. A lot of stop.
With a tree branched out, mocking me. Arthritic limbs thrown down into the air below the mantle. Black light and broken rope. As Salaphase misshapen of repair. Shimmer, shimmer, shimmer.
You're welcome for that abrupt stop. Aside from the glottal stops, you'll hear very rhythmic singing. I mean, he says sallow instead of sallow. And it could be, you know, difference in language, but I don't think so. I think it's intentionally done to make all these jumbled thoughts go really fast, and it's quite effective. But on top of that, you have your drums come in. Your guitars are what is really kind of pushing this song. Yes, the bass is always driving it forward. Yes, the drums are always giving you that foundation. But the guitars start out in this song, and they kind of feel like they're doing this. They feel like that the whole time, y'all. There is no lead guitarist in this band. There is no rhythm guitarist in this band. They go back and forth, and it's like note to note sometimes. And I had to watch a video. I was like, okay, I just want to see if I can figure out who's playing. Sometimes I can. But they are just, it is back and forth. I kid you not. It's just back and forth. They do a really great job. In fact, I would have thought with Lars and Tommy that they had been besties since like kindergarten or something and been playing guitar together their whole life. That's how well I think they play together. And it does stand out. You do hear those influences, that slight hint of metal once in a while, that slight hint of prog rock, that good old-fashioned rock and roll, and those gothic bell tones on the guitar. And this is the song where they're really showcasing the guitar. And the vocals are in there. They're, of course, extremely important. You know, as a frontman, they're standing in the front. We relate to music with words through the vocalizations. And it doesn't take a back seat, but the guitars are brought forward. Again, masterful mixing. This is great mixing, because sometimes with the guitars, I was like, I can't tell who's playing what. And I was like, well, should I know who's playing what? It just makes this beautiful wall of sound. I know, I'm not being Phil Spector, I promise. But the mixing is just so good. It's like the subtlety of the mixing with Simon and Gordon, when they bring each instrument forward, it does not push the other instruments away. It brings the ones to the forward and they're lifted up, and all of them are lifted up together, and the mix is incredible. And I listen to a lot of self-produced shit, y'all. I listen to a lot of self-produced Gothic rock. I love to listen to tiny bands. I love to find new stuff. I get on my Bandcamp and I look at shit all the time. I'm clicking on stuff that people are sharing, and this mix is really, really good. There's not a single place where I was like, oh, what did that guitar do? Nothing is startling. Nothing is jarring. It's jarring or startling in the way it's supposed to be. It might be shocking in the way it's supposed to be, but it's not like, what the fuck, dude? As I like to do, I'm going to move you forward a little bit because I say go and listen to it. Even better if you buy it. Can't say that enough.
A token world inside of me.
A token world inside of me.
Shattered heart as it hits the ground. I know, I see.
Guitar.
Feel.
Almost like it's pizzicato violin playing. Portaphone.
Tasting core behind the curtain. Insurance certain. A following through the lip.
And he did it again with that vocalization, Felogrin, and he just does it fast, and it makes sense. It just makes so much sense to get that through as quickly as he does in that particular spot, because it kind of shows that little bit of anxiety. But the guitars, when they come up and they're, I don't want to say choppy, because choppy sounds bad, but it's like they're chipping. It's like they're taking the pick and like doing shit I don't know how to do. I mean, honestly, I don't know how to do that stuff. But you hear there's so much more guitar, but none of the other instrumentation suffers for it. And that is why I think the mixing is so good. Let's skip ahead because, you know, I keep talking. Remember, that's all Mr. Egan. Okay, so we're done with that song because, you know what? I've already said it. So we've had the bass and the vocals on the first one. On the second one, we had the guitar. The guitars are just weaving in and out. It's like blinding at some points. You can't even figure out what's going on. Have you ever been on a merry-go-round? Like, with your eyes closed and how it's kind of gentle, but it still kind of puts you off kilter? Sometimes that's how I feel about the guitars. And it's amazing. It's just amazing. They're such good players, and they're so good together. Arrowhead is where, I mean, everybody fucking hits it in this one. Everybody hits it. But really, the instrument that stands out to me here is the drums. They are really pushing this song. They are pushing it right along with the bass. Everything's pushing it. Everything opens wide up in Arrowhead. So let's just fucking listen to it, right? I mean, come on. Those drums. Oh, man. Good smooth guitar.
Welcome to new life. Welcome to new time. Welcome to all.
And it all fades back just a little bit so that these lyrics can come forward. Now it picks up. Because it's important. Welcome to your new life. Abrupt cut coming. Oh! So you hear that we've got everything is hitting it. Everything is starting to hit it. The one thing that you're going to hear that if I talk over it, you won't hear it because, you know, I'm talking over the music too because I am that clown. But the bass really opens up. As intricate as it is and as forward motion as that bass is in every song, there's a softness to it that keeps it from sounding like the average bass. There's something about it that is much more smooth and kind of, it doesn't sneak in. There's something about the bass that's much more smooth and it kind of infiltrates rather than hits you, where it doesn't have the bah, 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 bah. Well, this time you're going to hear not just the vibrato of the guitars, but you're going to hear some of that tiny bit of vibration when the bass is opened up. You're going to hear the guitars go louder and heavier rock and roll. You're going to hear everything recede when it's time for some of those lyrics. This song is actually the one that makes me the saddest because the two words, I mean, I have two words per song, right? On this one are Lake Arrowhead and Need. Lake Arrowhead, the one that I found, is a place out in California, and it's like supposedly untouched, but it's not untouched because it's all this tourist shit. And I think, I don't know, this just makes me think of a retirement village. It's like you're busting your ass your whole life. You're working. They're killing you at your job. And the whole point is that so you can get to this paradise they've told you about. But the paradise is really just like a rat in a cage. You're just doing the things that they tell you to. You're going to your fucking bingo night, or you're going to this. You're wearing your matching tracksuits, and you're just doing all this boring ass shit. And to me, it's the saddest song because I would rather die, literally rather die than live like that. So again, masterful lyrics. The way it's handled with the pulling back of the other instrumentation and that first welcome, and when the guitars come forward and everything just really opens up in this song. So let's skip forward so I can get maximum irritation for you guys. You hear that bass? The drums are just killing it. Horrible cut. Vocals are pulled back a little bit. Really good drum right here. And it just kind of ends. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ugh. Because you're going to end your life in fucking Lake Arrowhead doing all this shit that everybody told you would be so great. Are you satisfied? Are you fucking satisfied with that? Like I said, I would rather die. So here's Light on Light. This is the fourth and final track on the EP. If you didn't notice, all three of those tracks sounded different. And Light takes it to yet another place. So Light on Light, you're like, Light on Light, what the fuck does that mean? Think as I was given psychosis and reality. So to me, this song is about fucking losing your mind. You know, we all hit those places where we have mental health issues. It could be for a couple days, it could be for a couple of years, where you're like, am I crazy? Am I losing my grip on fucking reality? And it's like, oh no, here's this moment of clarity. And it just goes back and forth like that, and that is what it fucking feels like. But this song sounds different from the rest. I mean, not that they don't all sound different, but this one really sounds different from the rest. So let's just get into it, and you can kind of hear. The lyrics are super simple. Mournful guitars this time. Well, I mean, they're all mournful, but you know what I mean. Bass is a little bit more simple right here in the song. A little bit. Abrupt stop, how are you? So kind of what it feels like, the way it's being sung, the way it just feels like you're doing this, it really has kind of that feeling, not like I'm gonna puke, but you know, you can feel that it's going back and forth, and that whole feeling we're all falling down. The way they've brought it around with the guitars around, the bass is like, and all of a sudden it flourishes, and the drums are holding it up, but the instrumentation, of course, like everything else, is forward and receding, and you know that the musicians do a lot of that while they're playing. I mean, they have to live, but it's also to bring it across in the mix because you lose a lot of stuff in the mix. Again, the way the instrumentation is brought back and forth is amazing, and you can hear where one of the guitars is brought forward and then the other, and so it's really just a well done mix here. And all of this combines to give you that feeling of falling. Have you ever felt like, especially if you're falling asleep, like your eyes are closed, but for some reason you can still see like that bit of light, like a tunnel of light, and you're just falling away from it. You see it done in movies, and pretty effectively, actually. That's what this song kind of feels like. It's like we're all falling down, and then you get to stand up for a minute. We're all falling down, and then you get to stand up for a minute. And I'm just like, holy fucking shit. This just defines mental illness. Now, I don't know that he meant mental illness. He said psychosis, so I don't know if he meant that crazy motherfuckers are out there shooting people up. I'm going to move you forward a little bit and have another abrupt start.
How can this be?
A lot of guitar. Even that echoing end, everything about it just makes you feel like we're all falling down, light on light, and the echo. The echo on the vocals is fantastic. It's also a harbinger of Gothic rock, like, the rest of the album. So that was Fault Line, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the next level of Gothic rock. I think that this is probably the very best Gothic rock album I have ever heard. And I have the obvious complaint that it's too short for me. So hey, thanks for watching. Until next time.